Or coming up on the big program. You'll remember MoviePass? Well, it's back, and they're actually out with a new strategy. We're going to talk to the co-founder, and now, once again, the CEO of MoviePass, Stacy Spikes. He joins us in just a second. This is The Close on Bloomberg. All right, the company MoviePass is taking a leap into prediction markets now that it's back under the leadership of its original co-founder, Stacy Spikes. The movie ticket subscription service just launched Mogul, a platform that lets users build their own fantasy film studios, drafting actors, directors, movie projects in the hopes of gaining performance-based points. Joining us exclusively in studio for more on the future of MoviePass is the CEO, Stacy Spikes. Great to see you here, Stacy.
Roman, good to see you too.
All right, so everyone knows MoviePass, kind of pre-pandemic, the idea you get the subscription, you get to see all these movies. A little bit of controversy, you kind of lost it, you got it back. Yeah. The subscription service still exists.
Yes.
But now you have this thing, Mogul, and I want you to explain this to me. You raised a lot of money for this. Yeah. This isn't really about seeing movies.
Right.
This is more about community, social media. What exactly is it?
We found that we wanted something similar to what sports fans have in fantasy sports like FanDuel and DraftKings. Mm-hmm. And when people are doing that, they go to the games and watch the games 75% more.
Okay.
So the more that you're engaged in outcome and what you think is going to happen, the more likely you are to go to the movies. So we see it as an engagement tool and a way for fans to really play and compete with each other in a whole nother way.
So give me an idea of one thing that I can go on there and
Sure.
make a bet on.
So you are your own studio head. So you're going to go in there and you're going to pick the movies you want, the actors you want. Everybody has the same budget. And your job is to compete against me in real world performance based on the movies or actors that I chose.
And so, but how are you ranking that? So it's based on that actor's performance,
Sure.
Box office performance
Sure.
in a movie?
So what we do is we take, let's say, I'm going to take Wicked, you're going to take Denzel and
I like
Gladiator,
Denzel, yeah,
right?
sure,
Okay.
yeah.
And so how the box office performs, if you just chose the actor is a percentage of the movie's performance. But if you choose the movie, it's that movie's performance. So we score them in a way that's based on the real world. So you start with $1 million and you accumulate as you go.
How fast do you think this can grow? This particular side of the business?
Well, the beautiful part is it's global. So you'll be able to play around the world. When you're doing sports are regional. They're a very regional activity. Well, when something like Wicked opens, it opens worldwide.
Yeah.
So you have no impediment to worldwide growth, so it could grow very fast.
I am curious just about the strategy you're taking with this. And one reason I asked about growth is obviously some of the things that tripped up MoviePass the first time around was that sort of a push to accelerate the pace of growth in the company. And it was done, as we now know in hindsight, in an irresponsible way.
Yeah.
How do you make sure you avoid that pitfall this time around?
I've always been very cautious. So when we sold the company the first time, my co-founder and I said to these guys, hey, you don't have to go so fast. Get it right, take your time, make a good product. You'll win and stay in the market. So I'm conservative in that sense, so I think we'll be fine there.
You've raised a lot of money for this particular project.
Yeah, so we raised a really good chunk of money. It is for the deployment as we want to expand it into Web3 markets and things of that nature.
And it's funny, and so this Mogul is actually, it's native to the blockchain, more or less, right?
It has a blockchain layer underneath, so
Okay.
everything, all transactions are happening on chain. But if you play it, you won't know the difference whether you're on one or not.
Why did you choose to do it there?
Well, if you go fast and you want to expand it, you have rails that are already there that can go around the world and do whatever you want. If you go traditional and you're going to use payment systems that are standard, you have to do those jurisdictionally one at a time. So it allows you both options, whichever way you want to go.
Now, how is Mogul integrated, if at all, into the kind of I guess what I would call the traditional MoviePass subscription business?
Yeah, so the way we looked at it is if you took something like X or Twitter and someone has an account, a blue check mark means that you're a real person and you really exist. In order to prevent bots and other things like that, we've tied it in that the subscription that you have and that you actually go to the movies will allow that person to play at a higher level and more risk-free because we know you're a real person.
What has been the response, if at all, from the movie theater and the movie companies, the movie studios?
Well, so far, everybody's really liked the idea. People see how sports fans have had this for quite some time. And anything that's helping to drive traffic and get that deeper engagement, everybody's for it.
Now, I do have to just ask you overall about the future of theatrical movies. You know, there's been a big debate, particularly now with the potential sale of Warner Brothers Discovery and the idea that it could go under the umbrella of a streaming company. Do you really see a viable future for us physically going to the theater to see new releases?
Yeah, you know, so we look at the world in two parts. There's the making of films, the marketing of films, and the production of them. And then there's going to movies. We're setting records of people going to movies. And so there's box office records that are happening where Japan, with its most recent film, that film broke records. Godzilla 0-1 broke all-time records for any film released out of Japan. The #2 film of all times now is one out of China with Nizao.
Yeah.
So if on one side you're setting records of attendance, the problem has to do with production costs and marketing costs. And I think AI and some of the other things that are coming online are going to help that process, help bring some of those costs down in a safe and secure way. But I don't, you know, do you know that people go to the movies 10 times more than all sporting events combined? 10x.
No, but I guess that would make sense given the cost differential.
Yeah.
I mean, if
and the availability. Movies are open 365 days a year. They're everywhere, and it is, you know.
Just real quick, I only have about 30 seconds, but do you think the studios will stay committed to that? Because at the end of the day, you still need the content, and more importantly, that content to be released and actually held in theaters for more than just one weekend.
Oh, yeah. I think that the studios that are committed to long IP, you're going to have a better established IP if you play it in theaters than if you don't.
All right, Stacy, great to catch up with you. We got to check in a little bit more frequently. Stacy Spikes, he's the co-founder and CEO of MoviePass and recently launched a new service called Mogul.